This is my second video on Spyderco Southard clones. The reason why I'm doing a second video is because this clone is a stainless steel framed clone. The Spyderco Southard is titanium. This clone I did before was titanium, and this one is stainless. This knife is considerably less expensive than the titanium clone. This knife shipped from China is about $22. That's including shipping everything right to your door. Of course, you know the Southard is pushing $250, $300. So the Southern clone is about $22, $21. The titanium clone is about $58, I think, shipped. That's including shipping. If you see the review of the titanium Southard I did, it is a superbly done knife. It really is. Obviously, I can't vouch for the metallurgy of the blade, but the knife fit, finish, function, everything is awesome with that knife. So this knife is also a nice knife. So I just want to go over a quick little review of the differences between the stainless compared to a real Southard, and just kind of knock those things out. I ordered it in this camo just so that I could get something a little different. So, just for the fun of it. So let's weigh these knives and see how much of a penalty we pay for the stainless. So the real Spyderco Southard in titanium is 108 grams, 3 7/8 ounces. I think I read that right. This one is 144, so it's 30, about 30 something grams, a little over an ounce more. This one's 5 1/8. They really don't feel that much different when you pick them up, which is kind of interesting. Okay. I sort of made a little gig. This is the clone, obviously. I made a little gig on the original about the finish on the titanium. Believe it or not, the stainless finish nicer. Let me just go over the box. Before I do that, let me go over the boxes real fast. So, if you read anything, the boxes have such high variability that there's no reason to pay attention to them as far as I'm concerned much. The clone is on the right and the real one is on the left. You can see that the barcode comes all the way down to the Arabic numerals. They usually get that wrong on the clones. I just got a Tatanka yesterday and the mouth was totally kind of screwed up on that. It was real thick. So you can't go by these things because even factory variabilities make a huge difference. You can see there's a little something going on with the, I don't know if that's something wiped on there, not on the little embossing for the gold Spyder. That's the real one. This is a Southard that I'm selling, by the way, if anybody wants it. One of the things they do kind of miss is if you look at, let's see if I got it. Yeah, I got them both in here. So I think you can see the difference here. So on the right is the little insert for the fake Southard, and on the left is the real Spyderco insert for the Southard. Now, if you read them, I haven't proofed them or everything. They're very close. But you can see there's a little bit of difference here on how they did the gradient. This is kind of a gold color. And I've noticed that the clones have got this gold tint to them. And this is kind of a silver color, and the real Spydercos are kind of silvery. And to show you that there's some consistency in the real Spydercos, so there's the gold, and here's three more of 3 different knives. This is a Centifonte titanium. You can see it's silver and gold, and you can see the more red down here. I wouldn't really pay a lot of attention to this stuff. I just thought I would point it out because it's interesting. This is this is another knife. This is a Tatanka I just got yesterday, which I'm going to be doing a review on. You can see it's silvery looking. This is gold. And this one is an 85. And you can see silver versus gold, and you can see it's very consistent. This red area is much bigger down here. So that's about all the time I'm going to spend on boxes. All my videos I've told you about the foam and all kinds of stuff and some of the crinkle, things they put the knife in, but I don't want to spend a lot of time on that. Anybody that wants this knife right here, I'm trying to sell it on eBay. I've got a great price on it, by the way. So with free shipping and everything. Great. It's an unused knife. It's never been sharpened, carried, cut, or anything. It's a brown Southard. Perfect knife. Absolutely flawless. I just got 2 of them and I don't need that one. back to the ranch here. Okay, and I'm not going to spend a lot of time on this. I'm just going to hit the high spots, I think, on these things. And this is in 4K. So if you have a 4K video card with a 4K monitor, this should look pretty sharp to you. The G10, you know, it's real toothy on the brown. It's a little smoother, as most Chinese G10 is. This is pretty good, but it's smoother. The fit and finish of the blades, it's got a little more, just like not quite as polished as the one on the titanium frame. You would think the blades would be about the same. Maybe they are, but I feel more edge in this hole. Still polished, and on the edge of the blades. Spyderco was very good at breaking these angles over and rounding them off. You can see how much of this guy right here, you can see that it reflects on that edge, so they polished the edge over. Now they've done that on this knife as well, but just not as much. You can see it's a little sharper to line across there. There's a little hump here in the back of the blade that is more pronounced than on the real deal here. You can feel it with your finger. It's got a little hump here. This one is a little more smoother, sweeping. Also, when they did I'm going to be careful here. I'm going to cut myself because both of these knives are incredibly sharp, by the way, even the fake. Is that if you'll notice where where they started doing the grind, where they took I forget what they call that, where they took their wheel and basically cut this out right here. I'm having a brain fart. As you can see that on the real one on the top, they got about 1/3 the bottom of the spider hole is covered by this grind coming down here, and you can see it's much less on here. And I'm nitpicking. Now, a guy told me I nitpick too much on knives. Well, when you're looking at things that are done this close, if you're not picking nits, then you're going to get fooled, and basically they're identical to you, right? If you're not picking out these small little areas that hopefully will help you identify. So you can see that this area right here, this flat area that you could put a clamp on if you're putting it in a Lansky sharpener or something, you can see it's much bigger. It's twice as big as, this is the real one, and you can see that it is much smaller. Get a focus going on here. Come on. My hand's not in the way, about to get cut. It doesn't focus too good. Sorry about that. You can see that area, you know, that right here is twice as big on the fake. Also, you'll notice that it's a little rougher stone wash. It's not as finely textured stone wash on the blade. These are all matters of personal taste, or some of them are. The grind line is the grind line. I think they're both ground very well. The other side is about the same, and the logos all feel the same. The etching on the Southard logo and on the Spyder are all the same. Slight difference in size. The fake is on the top. You can see the Southard logo is a little bigger, but if you run your finger over it, it's about the same as far as the way it feels. You can see there, notice how far up the real blade is. The hollow ground portion here is, that's what it is, hollow ground. The hollow ground portion is cut up much higher. No big deal, to tell you the truth. You can see maybe you can appreciate this hump. It's like a dachshund's nose. So let's get back to the differences in these things that are quality differences and that you might notice. If you look at how the G10 scale fits here, you see that little space in there between the stainless, which is colored, it looks like titanium. There's a little space there. And then if you come around to the back side here, you can see there's a little space right there. You can see it's a little shelf. If you run your nail across there, it catches. Not bad. It's pretty nice. But if you look on this guy, which is the real deal, I mean, that is flat and flush. Your finger goes barely, maybe that way, just a hair. Same thing on the back. You can run your finger across there. It is fit, it is flat, it is finished well. You'll notice these standoffs in here are highly polished and highly finished. And on here, They're not quite there. So, you know, $20, $250. On the real one, no, this is the fake one. On the real one, if you look on the titanium, it's got a stone wash finish on the titanium, which is really nice. It's very smooth to the touch. On the fake titanium before, it had a chalky, bead blasted finish, which was okay, but you know, you rub your finger across, you can tell there's just micro pores on the surface, so it was rubbed across and it felt kind of chalky. This is smooth as glass. All the edges are finished over. It's a great knife. All the edges on this knife is just tactily, this is a great knife. So let's look at the stainless steel. Now the stainless steel, I don't know how they got that color, because it's kind of a gray brown. They're trying to, you know, replicate that pretty close. They're trying to get as close as they can to this, but it's not stone washed. But it is a really smooth, the edges are nicely broken, and it is a really smooth finish to it. I mean, it is done well. Other than being stainless steel, and I don't understand, this is 3 and some odd ounces, this is 5 something ounces. You know, the titanium does feel lighter. There's no doubt it's got a little more heft to it. But, you know, not a great amount of difference in these knives. Certainly, you know, if you don't have $250 and you want a really nice knife to carry around, you would consider, and you didn't mind, you know, obviously participating in copyright infringement with these guys and being a conspirator towards it, you could get this and carry it around and be extremely happy with this knife. The G10, you know, on the edges here, I looked at it, I tried to compare the edges and see if maybe they had kind of melted over the edges a little more when they were polishing them, but really the edge, the way they did the edges on them, looks almost identical. Except that because it's got this layer on the top that gives you the camo. And that's where they did the polishing across. It kind of makes it shiny on that edge, where it should be, you know, flat finish like this, because they did a polishing that lapped over into that camo, the peel and ply of this camo pattern. I think it's called peel and ply. But to me, it looks like the edges are about the same width. I could get a caliper out and measure them. You know, maybe the Spyderco is a little narrower, buffing on the edge. It definitely feels. The reason why I'm saying all this is that, number one, it gives the camo a slightly shiny feeling or look, where they ran their sander over it basically and just polished the camo down a little bit. It definitely feels a little smoother on that edge. And then the edge of this G10 definitely makes a polished 90 degree here. So this is more angular. You know, to tell you the truth, this one feels a little rounder in your hand than this one does. This one feels a little more angular right there. So, you know, you could argue that this is a better feeling knife and maybe better finished, other than the fact that they did kind of, you can see it right there, when they hit the sander on the peel and ply, they kind of polished it a little bit, so it's kind of a little shiny and it's very slick feeling right there. But it feels nice in your hand because of the fact that they rolled the edge a little bit. You know, a lot of people send their knife to a custom knife maker to get custom scales that are done exactly or similar to how these are done, you know, to get camo or something like that. Okay, so the biggest problem with this knife for the money is that, I don't know what I did with my screwdriver. Well, it got away. I guess I don't have to show you that. So the action on this knife is very nice. And the action on the fake Spyderco titanium was even better. This thing flips nice. It's got enough of a detent that it is not easy to open like that. It flips fine, but that detent there it's tight. This one, you can push it open easier. The problem is it doesn't flip very well, and the reason why it doesn't is to get this blade centered, and I played around with trying to loosen this up, is anytime you mess with this pivot, this blade rapidly does this. So you got to screw both sides of this thing down to get it. As soon as you loosen one side, this thing starts coming over, and to get it where it flips super easy, it starts banging on the frame a little bit. So right now, you know, I move this thing, it's a little bit tight through here. I'm sure that with use this thing will loosen up, and you'd want to, obviously you'd want to leave it centered. But it makes it where it's a little hard to get it fully. See, it's not quite locking when I do that. So you have to give it a little flip. And then any loosening of that thing that causes this, this blade to kind of drift in the frame will cause it to get, you know, lock-up play. Last thing I guess I noticed here is on the jimping. The jimping up on the top is by no means rough, but it is nowhere near as polished and rounded off as the real deal here. And I think you can see that. Now, I'm going to tell you that I think the jimping on the fake is better, because this is really too soft. It almost doesn't function as jimping because they've really heavily polished it, and your finger just slides across it. Feels nice to do that, but I mean, you feel nice polish, the G10 and the blade there. This is not rough, but it's got enough that you could call it, and they did a very good job on it as well. But it's got just enough tooth on it, and it's just slightly deeper, that I think it functions, as far as its function is concerned, as jimping. I think it's better because it's not rough, but it's got enough that your finger locks in there and catches on it and holds it without being sharp. So I say the Chinese did better on the jimping. This right here really almost doesn't, I mean, just barely functions as a jimping area. I think that's all I want to do on this 16 minutes. 17 minutes is what I got into this so far. I don't want to go much further. All the hardware is countersunk and real well. This is an awesome deal for 21 something bucks. This is a great knife too. I really like it, and it flips nice. Everything's nice on it. I believe this is ball bearings on the here too, but I'm not sure. I haven't seen this knife taken apart, and I haven't taken it apart. Only loosened it up a little bit. So if you have any questions, feel free to post them, make some comments. I'm always like to hear what people have to say about the videos, and thanks for watching.